Hi, this is Terri Ryan, and I'm a diabetes educator and dietitian with Integrated Diabetes Services. Today's my day off, and so I like to try to make some healthy foods that I can have throughout the week. As we know, with having type 1 diabetes, it's hard to always eat healthy and prep everything that we need. So I try and look at it as cooking therapy when I am making something for myself for the week. And my neighbors are always quite happy because I make extra and they get to share in it as well. So I'm going to make a recipe that is easy with only a few ingredients. You can actually make it right in this silicone pan. It's called Life-Changing Bread. I don't like to do it in the silicone pan, stir it all up in the silicone pan just because it has the ridges in the bottom. So I'm gonna use a bowl, and I'm gonna start with 1.5 cups of rolled oats, and this is thick cut rolled oats because that's what I prefer. And I'm gonna put all the dry ingredients together. So that's 1 cup of raw, unroasted, unsalted sunflower seeds, 1/2 cup of flaxseed, and you can use any color flaxseed you like. There's black, there's dark brown. I like the golden ones. Then 2 tablespoons of chia seeds and 1/2 cup of nuts. This is hazelnuts. You can use any type of nuts you like. Last time I didn't have hazelnuts, which is what the recipe called for, so I used pecans. So you can use whatever you have in the house. This last dry ingredients is 1 teaspoon of salt and then 4 tablespoons of psyllium husks. If you're using the whole husks, I am using psyllium powder, and so it's 3 tablespoons of the psyllium powder. So you just mix up those dry ingredients so that they're well mixed. This has a lot of fiber in it because all of the ingredients so far are whole grains or whole nuts or seeds. And so it's a great food with healthy fats and a lot of fiber. So then you're gonna mix together the wet ingredients, which is 1.5 cups of water. And then I already poured in 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, and then 3 tablespoons of clarified butter. The recipe calls for ghee or coconut oil, but it's easier for me to just make clarified butter, which you make by just heating some butter on the stove and with low heat, and then you just pour off the clear part and don't use the milk solids that are sitting on the bottom. And you just stir up the wet ingredients, and then you're just gonna pour them into the dry ingredients and then mix the whole thing together. And this is what is called peasant cooking. So when I was in chef school, our chef taught us that if you can only follow a recipe, then you're a recipe follower. But if you can use what you have in the house, you can make something out of nothing. So you substitute whatever you have, whatever's available, whatever's at the market, whatever's in your pantry, and most of the time things still turn out fine. Cooking is more of an art, baking is more of a science, but if you keep the proportions the same, then you should be fine with substitutions. So I'm just mixing everything up well. It should be a fairly thick dough, but you should be able to still mix it and then pour it into the silicone bowl. You don't need to grease the silicone bowl or anything. You just pour it right in. If it's too thick, you can add a few more drops of water to make sure that you can work with it. And then you just spread it out in the pan. You can also use a regular pan that you line with parchment paper or, you know, the grease aluminum foil, the release foil, or some people have little silicone liners that they use. But you can also just order some silicone pans online. And then you spread out the top, and then what we're gonna do is that we're going to let it sit for anywhere from 2 hours to overnight. And then we're gonna bake it for 20 minutes at 350. And then when that time is up, you're gonna take it and you're gonna release it from the pan. So tip it upside down, put it back in the oven upside down directly on the rack, and bake it for another 30 to 40 minutes. And it should sound hollow when it comes out of the oven. And it's very crispy, and it slices very easily. It freezes very easily. So I slice it, freeze it, and then I just pull it right out from the freezer, pop it in the toaster, and you have a nice crunchy piece of toast. It only has 12 grams of carb with 7 grams of fiber. So you get very little carbohydrate. So you have to take very little insulin. You do have to take some insulin because it does have all of those healthy fats from the nuts and seeds. So we will post the recipe on integrateddiabetes.com. And if you need any help with your diabetes, feel free to reach out to us, and hope you can enjoy this bread. Thank you.